The interview of Captain Ade Olopenia for the NNSL online archive project. Please state your parentage, place of birth, state, and your early education before joining the NNSL.
I was born in Okeho, Kajola, local government of Oyo State. My parents were Imam Olopenia and Princess Hosenat Abebi Olopenia. I was born in 1953, to be precise. My primary school was at Ansar Primary School in Okeho between 1959 and 1964. After which, I went to 1966. I went to Okeho Grammar School for 2 years. 1966 to 1967. The school was based in Iseyin at that time. Iseyin is just about 25 kilometers from Okeho. I had to leave that school and came to Lagos in 68. I could not get any admission in 68, so I had to spend the whole necessary was spent. I was just at home until I got admission to Eko Boys High School, 1969. Okay. And I passed out in 1972. Between 72 and after the results and all that, between 72 and 74, I got employment with Federal Ministry of Transport.
As a clerk?
No, as a deck officer cadet.
Is it?
I was actually employed as a deck officer cadet. At that time, the Inland Waterways Department of the Ministry, they tried to recruit people to train as mariners.
I see.
So 8 of us were appointed that time. After we did aptitude test at WAEC, and then later we did interview in the Ministry of Transport, and 8 of us were selected in 1974.
Yeah. But
because the ministry did not make arrangement for us to proceed to medical colleges in UK, we had to spend a whole 1 year in Nigeria. And 4 of us were posted to the Inland Waterways Department in Warri.
Okay.
And that 4 were posted to the Inland Waterways Department in Lokoja.
Okay.
So we were there until September 75.
Doing what?
Well, those days, now the Inland Waterways, for instance, the one in Warri, was a very big, almost like a shipyard. We had workshops, slipway, and it was a very busy place. And we had all these other experienced deck ratings, boatswains, able seafarers, and all that. And they had workshops, very big workshops. So the people there that were giving us training, giving us seamanship and all that. And the slipway was working well. They had very busy slipway.
I see.
That time, to now, always had a lot of vessels,
okay,
including tugboats. So the vessels will come to the slipway, they'll be slipped, they will work on them, and then they will be. And then sometimes they even had foreign vessels too. That time, well, not private vessels that came to the yard from the pier. So it was, we were very busy.
Yeah, but these were passenger ferries or what?
Passenger ferries, tugboats, small crabs, and that.
And they were repairing them?
Yes, they were repairing them. The slipway is still there up to now. The worry, you know what I was worried. It's very sad when I look back on how the Inland Waterways has become. It was a very, very big in one of those days. Very much workshops. My God, unbelievable. Whatever I want to do, machines, late machines, all those things were in workshops in those days of worry. In 74, 75.
Yes.
Very busy place, and the people were well trained.
Okay.
Those who were well trained because. Initially, the Inland Waterways had even foreigners as heads of those places. They used to call them divisional marine engineers and divisional marine officers, who were employed to take over from those people eventually.
Okay.
Some of them were foreigners.
Yeah. By
the time we got there, now they had employed some Nigerians were employed in the 60s. Capt Ade of Present Memory was one of them. Capt Abakoba was Inland Waterways trainer as well too. So those were the people that we were supposed to follow. So it was in 75 that they were able to secure places for us in the various maritime colleges in the UK.
Okay.
And then,
still under Inland Waterways?
Yes, Inland Waterways sent us abroad for the training.
Okay.
And there was that arrangement with NNSL.
Yeah.
So when we went to the college after that, we now joined the National Shipping Line, and we started our training on board.
Interesting.
Yes,
Interesting. So you still remember some of your, well, we say here, narrate your career with NNSL when you were employed, but you were not employed in NNSL, you were employed by Inland Waterways.
yes, Federal Ministry of Transport.
Yes, and they sponsored you for nautical training.
Yeah.
Now, how did you decide to go into seafaring? Did anybody give you encouragement, or did you have any family member who was in seafaring?
Well, unfortunately, where I come from, Okeho, what you have is just a small river.
Okay.
And I only came to Lagos in 1968.
Yes.
But what I always wanted to do was initially I wanted to do medicine, but I discovered that maybe I'd like to be in the military,
Yes.
in particular maybe the Navy or something like that. So I had that aspiration to be in the Navy.
Yes.
But suddenly now, when I used to go to Marina and all that, now there used to be even one tugboat that we had, and the name of that tugboat was the name of my hometown. I don't know how they named the tugboat.
What was the name?
Okeho, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe somebody, I can't also up to that I don't understand. Maybe somebody from Okeho work in NPA.
Yes.
And they named that tugboat Okeho.
Yeah.
Yes. So and eventually there was advert in the papers. That time when I finished secondary school now, I was in two minds. Did I want to do levels? I wasn't sure.
Yes.
Then there was advert in papers for us people to apply to join the Ministry of Transport as marine engineers and marine officer cadets.
Yes.
So that's how I applied. And as they say, the rest is history. So I didn't have nobody. I mean, I come from a very north of Oyo State.
Yes. So who were your colleagues, seniors, co-workers, and how did you get on with them? Any first officer, anybody?
Because of the fact that I'm from Inland Waterways, there were 8 of us. Some of them are passed on. Engineer Nozakari is with ABS. Nozakari. Sonny Nozakari. Olu Ekundayo.
Okay.
Of Blessed Memory. Felix Okwadigbo.
Okay.
He has passed on to Ayo Daniel, Agbola Daniel. He couldn't even complete the course with us. I'm trying to remember.
Why couldn't he complete the course?
Well, it's not easy. He lost interest. He got lost in the UK when we were there. It's not easy. Yes. We were 8 of us from the ministry, and of course, when we went to UK, we were sent to different colleges.
Which one were you sent to?
I was sent to Plymouth.
Okay.
I was in Plymouth for my cadetship. That's where I did my
Plymouth Polytechnic.
No, that time it was Plymouth School of Maritime Studies.
I see.
So that's where I did my. Because those days in polytechnics in the UK, polytechnics don't do. They were not doing
Maritime.
No, they were doing maritime. What we went for was the other national diploma. Polytechnics were not doing that in the UK that time. It was left for the College of Colleges to do. So I was in Plymouth. My I have several colleagues anyway. Because we were employed in NNSL before, most of the colleagues that I came to see with, they were the ones that NNSL employed in 75 too.
Okay.
People like Ilori, for instance.
Okay.
Now Ilori.
Is it Ilori?
No, the Capt Ade Olopoenia, Faboro, who's now Oba in Eko State. You don't know him?
Okay, I must know him.
Ayodele Ilori.
Yeah.
And we were together on the ship.
Okay.
Captain Begusa.
Begusa.
You don't know him?
I don't know him.
I
may know him facially.
Captain Loko.
Okay.
Gaba. All these people were all 75. People that went to see 75. Even though
these were people from NNSL.
Yes, NNSL people. Yes,
so you met.
When we went to see now, I mean, I was not a switch anymore because we were just cadets.
Of course.
Nobody, whatever were
NNSL.
So we just like that. And so many of those guys, I can't remember all of them anyway.
So among them, who were your bosom friends?
My very bosom friend, unfortunately, has passed on. We actually stay together on the same cabin and all that. Lucia Mefundayo. My very, very good friend, sadly. And then another of my bosom friend was Jaboyedeji. I stayed several in his when he was placed in Liverpool. And Captain Mohammed Afolabi, who were still very close up to today. Yeah, very, very, very close. I was trying to Oluwadare was my good friend, but sadly too, he passed away when he was actually on the ship. It was very sad. Tola Udeen, a very good friend. Yes, he was involved. Yes, well, very good friends and yes. Of course, Captain Ade Olopoenia, Katala Otu, all these guys that we met, Victor Sota, all these guys that I mean, those days were really jolly tomes. Sometimes I can't remember all the names. Anyway. Maybe I should have written them there for so like if I see the pictures, I will say, oh, these are the guys that we together with.
Those are jolly days, quite right. So, what were the voyages like for you? All those, what kind of voyages did you take? You still remember the first time you made a sea voyage?
Yes, the first time I met it was on the Nnamdi Azikiwe. Those days, you go to the aspect officers, you just go for, it was 2 weeks or 4 weeks induction training in the college to prepare you to proceed for the first time. So, after the initial period, we went to, I went to the Liverpool office of the NNSL and I was posted to Nnamdi Azikiwe as a cadet.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, I mean, people like us that had no interaction with ships before. Yeah. It was very interesting. And I would say that I actually liked my time, the ambience of what I met on board. It was very interesting. Familiar, very nice people, Nigerians, many Nigerians on the ship. They were very nice. But and we got on very well with those who met on the ship.
What year was this?
That was 1975.
Okay.
I had to do the first 12 months to go to as decadent. I have to go to the college for about I remember that. Then from there you go to sea for 12 months. It's called phase 1, and you go back to college, and go back to sea again for another 12 months.
So what you are describing now was the very first
time, yes, my very first trip.
And that was from Liverpool to Lagos.
Yes.
So can you describe how it went? Do you still remember it?
I don't think. I think it was not. It wasn't eventful. I can't remember being seasick or.
You do carry luggage? You do carry cargoes?
Of course, you carry cargoes, but that time I can't remember. You know, those days, as cadets, I mean, I agree on. I just go to the ship. If you say excited, I just because they will just ask you go there, cadets stay, do this and that. I mean, you will not. Cargo work was not even the issue that time. First of all, you were doing mainly seamanship job, cleaning here and there, assisting the officers and the crew on deck and all that. So you will not be really involved because they're just starting out. I'm sure any of my colleagues that say that they did much in their first voyage. Because you
don't know what to do.
They're just new environment. Yes. Yes. I can't. Although it's a long time now, I can't remember. It's a long time now. But very interesting.
The food was good.
Oh, food was good because I think the good thing about the ship those days was that, of course, I'm sure you must have gone to Nigerian ship those days now. Yeah. When you enter ships like Nnamdi Azikiwe or Abebi or that, the saloon where officers have their meals, it's well set out like a hotel now. Yeah. The tables are with white cloth and everything.
4 or 5 star hotel.
Yes. And everybody's seat is. So when you, as a kid, when you go there now, you are very happy. You be your very neat uniform.
You have arrived.
Yes. You go there and sit down, then the store will come and ask you, okay, what do you want? You order your food, they're bringing for you. Can you imagine the first trip as maybe as 21-year-old or 30-year-old that guy, and you're on top of the world. And the food that time was very good. Sometimes they give us European food, sometimes Nigerian food. And when it's European food, now it's maybe three courses meal. Very, very fantastic those days. It was very, very good.
Honestly.
And one thing I know that during the cadetship, we used to have some nice recruiting officers. But that time, cadets are not supposed to have alcohol.
Yeah.
So the cadets officers some of them that we we say we. Instead of, they just say that we should sign for like Coke or whatever, they give us cartons of beer instead. But officially, we are signing for Coke. It was so nice.
So they made your day.
Yes.
So all this issue of seasickness or this thing.
Now that I was lucky, I never. It's just that God said I should be at sea. I never had any issue with feeling unwell. I just enjoyed myself as a cadet on the ship. It was probably the most entertaining time of my life. I really enjoyed my cadetship so much. And another thing was sometimes we were maybe about 4 cadets on the ship. And if you have 4 cadets on the ship and you are friends with each other, it makes life easier for you. Yes. I had good colleagues.
Okay. So I think we can go to question number. The major pause, you still remember the major, but overall, all the 12 months we were at sea, at least you can still recall some of the cargoes, the major cargoes that were being carried.
From Europe, from
the major ports.
From Europe, from Liverpool in particular, sometimes, most of the time we carry with the packages anyway.
Yes.
That time, in the 70s, we were not talking about containers and all that.
Yeah.
They were only general cargo,
Yes.
different packages and all that. And unless you open those packages, you won't know what
Consumer goods.
Yes. But from Africa to Europe,
Yes.
sometimes we carry cocoa, sometimes we carry palm kernel,
Yes.
from Calabar, all this. Sometimes we carry logs as well too. Logs.
Then outside Nigeria, what are the ports you go?
Oh, normally in those days, we used to, as we are coming from Europe, so that we start from Banjul.
Okay.
From Banjul, and then Freetown, then times Abidjan, then Takoradi, then Tema, before we get to Lagos. So sometimes you could call about 4 or 5 ports before you get to Lagos. And from Lagos sometimes, maybe you have to go to Port Harcourt to discharge the cargo or to load from Calabar back to Europe.
So did you notice the beginning of containers? Do you have any observations about how containers affected the trade when containers came and things like that?
It wasn't it was something that one had no choice but to notice now.
Yeah.
Because when we were still very young at sea now, we were just officers. NNSL bought all those 19 vessels.
Yes.
And those vessels were what they call combination carriers, combo vessel. They carry containers and carry general cargo too. So it was the beginning of the advent of transportation in the world anyway, in the late 70s and early 80s. So those vessels were so lucky that as we were becoming officers, those vessels were just being bought by NNSL. And we became officers from there. And we saw the differences. In those days, we used to load a lot of general cargo. Then we put the containers in only in the middle of the vessel and then on deck.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting. And it was something that we found very new at that time.
Yes.
And of course, if you are on those ships now, you feel as if you are on a very modern ship that time.
Yes.
Compared to the other ones that I couldn't carry. Yes. So, I mean, people are very happy that too. And those vessels were new too anyway.
Yes.
So it was a wonderful period. Of course, that time too, one of the things that changed on the vessel was that, unlike before where we had small derricks to carry cargo now, Union Forces derricks and all that now. When those vessels came now, they came with the bigger working vessels to be able to load containers. So that big derricks on the body ships. Interesting.
They were very good vessels if they could have been better managed, and the line. Many people see it as wasted opportunities. They were eventually everything now for harmful. So that's why we keep asking, the seafarers how they felt about those ships coming on board.
Yeah, in fact, I have a personal experience with the NNSL, the means of NNSL and the vessels. People say, oh, the vessels were old and all that. That's not it's about maintenance. I was fortunate that the vessel I stayed on as second officer, River Boyne. I stayed on it in the 80s. Then later, that vessel was sold to Brower Shipping Line. and I was fortunate to be the first master of that vessel. Yes. By River, Indone River. The name was changed to Indone River, owned by Chief Udeen. So when I took over from Lagos here, the vessel was in very bad shape. It was said that we had to go to Europe for dry dock. But we didn't go empty now. We went to Cote d'Ivoire, San Pedro, loaded a lot of logs, about 10,000 tons of logs. I took the vessel to Europe. When we got to Europe, after the strength the cargo, we now went to dry dock in Antwerp. Of course, the vessel was in terrible shape.
But why?
Because of lack of maintenance culture.
Under NNSL?
Yes. We spent about 4 months in dry dock.
Yes.
Most of the piping were changed. The head covers, all that were changed. We were taken to the workshop to be refitted. So much was done on the vessel that even the chairman, at that time, he felt that his technical advisors were
giving the advising
words. Because the estimate for the dry dock was had overshot by so much. You couldn't believe that. Why am I spending so much money on this vessel? But one thing I want to say is that when eventually the vessel, we finished the vessel, and subsequently we came to Nigeria, we go there. Subsequent trips to Lagos, the ship was, we were coming to Lagos, the vessel was doing this. The ship itself now, I remember one day, I was still the captain, I was just walking around the accommodation. I had people say outside, I said, this is a Nigerian ship. How are they able to make it like this now?
How are you able
to make this ship so good like this?
Okay.
Nigerians are saying, this Nigerian, how come now that this ship is so good like this? Because everything was working.
Yeah.
Accommodation was, the AC was in perfect condition. The ship was in top shape. That ship took for maybe almost 10 years before Brother sold it. And I'm sure the man made it. So, is there a question of the ship was not economic and all that? Because up to today, you still have vessels that are carrying general cargo.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes. But you still need general cargo to be carried. So it was just poor management.
Okay. Do you remember any of the ships you sailed on? Are there any of the ships you sailed on that you had striking experiences with that you want to share?
Maybe as a cadet, there was a time that the NNSL, there were so many cadets, and some of us were sent to foreign ships. One of the experiences I had was that I was sent to a ship that is called MV Flintshire. Flintshire.
Okay, Flintshire.
Owned by Ocean Fleet. And I think each of us were there as cadets. The vessel is very bigger than the National Shipping Line ships. And the vessel was used to fly the Far East and all that. So we were coming from Europe to Lagos. In those days, there used to be a lot of congestion in the port of Lagos. So when we were coming, because of the crew were Dutch officers and then Filipino ratings. Okay. We were the only Nigerians on board, the cadets.
How many of them?
8.
Wow.
So when we were coming, they told us that the ship should wait in a Freetown. Okay. Freetown College. We were in Freetown for 3 weeks.
Why?
Because of the congestion. They were afraid that if the vessel comes to Lagos, the ship will be attacked at Anchorage. And the crew that they are foreigners.
Goodness. So
when we were in Freetown, every night people will go to town, because we were at Anchorage, they will go to town and enjoy themselves. And so eventually, that's us come back to Lagos. I see now, anytime we are coming from Europe, and we, as I said now, normally we get to Banjul. Most cases we go to Ghana ports too. Nigerians love going to Ghana ports.
Why?
Because there's so much fun. By the time the ship is arriving at Tema Port, you see the crew. Everybody is
eager.
Oh my! People, the crew, everybody will be drinking and getting ready to go ashore. And as soon as we land, those are not on duty. They are off. To have the best of time. I think another story that maybe I would say is that during the time I was a cadet, it was the time of when we were carrying refugees from Equatorial Guinea.
Yes.
Malabo. That's Malabo now. So that time there were a lot of refugees that were trying to get out from Malobu that time.
Yeah.
When their first time, we carried a lot of Nigerians. So, for example, they were in terrible shape anyway. So, subsequently, anytime I think we went there about 3 or 4 times. Anytime we were going back, by the time we get there, the port itself is, because of the way Malobu is now, it's a very hilly place. So, when the vessels come in, people can see the vessel from it. So, now see a lot of the people now, they can see that the vessel is coming. They'll be so happy, eager for the ship to come to the port. Then when the ship arrives, they come on board and then we take them back to.
Okay.
The first time we went there, I was on the quay side. I wanted to send a bucket up, so I just took the line and tie what you call the bowling to hold the. So one man out on the quay side, the way I tied the body was so surprised. So he came and asked me, I said, "Were you in the Boy Scout?" I said, "No, that's what we learn on the ship as tech officers now." Yes. It was amazed at the way I had the body.
But those are the things you learn.
Yes, as a tech officer, yes.
Okay, there's this question about whether they were expatriates, seafarers, when you joined the.
By the time we came now, there are not many expatriates on the ship. Okay. So some of the vessels had expatriates, but a lot of the ships had Nigerian masters and trainers. But I stayed with one just for one voyage.
Yeah.
The former MD of Ghana Blaster Line.
Yes, man, that is
Capt Ade Mensa.
Capt Ade Mensa himself.
Yes, himself.
Wow.
But when he left Ghana Blaster, he came for some time to sail on the NNSL. Just briefly.
Capt Ade Mensa. In Canada, they respect him a lot.
But it's late now.
It's late now.
Yes, MD of Blaster Line. And now when I say what was, I can't remember his name now, but it was my first duty job as an officer on the ship.
Yeah.
I just finished my class 3. That time we call it class 3 certificates, all of you. And those days, when you finish, you do orals. They will tell you immediately if you have passed the orals or not. Okay. But you have to wait for your written exams.
Yeah.
Before you know. So I was posted to the ship from Liverpool as fourth officer while waiting my result. And I was put in the third officer's cabin.
Yeah.
So fortunately for me now, as I was still there, the office now posted a third officer to the ship. And they didn't post a third officer to the ship now. The training officer in the office, Christine, is from Canada, that married my friend, Falabi. I called her and she told me that my result is out to I passed.
Okay.
But the master of the ship didn't know. So when the third officer came, he just said, Olopoenia, you have to leave the cabin for. I told her, I said, I cannot leave. I'm already here now. Why should I leave for who?
Well, you had that.
That passed. When you had so I said I refused to leave the cabin for the third officer. Yeah.
The master is a foreign master.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
He called the office. Christine told him that he should leave me alone.
Okay, because
I just said that was my first defense.
Okay. All right. We also have this question about seafarers who were based in Liverpool. Were you based in Liverpool, or did you school in Liverpool, and what was your experience?
I actually started my cadetship in Plymouth.
Plymouth, yes.
That's where I did my cadetship. When I finished the cadetship, I stayed behind to do a degree program at the now University of Plymouth.
Okay.
When my colleagues were rising, I was in Plymouth for another 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I came back to sea, I went back to and did enough time to do my class 2. I went to eastern part of the country, Hull. Okay. That's why I did my class 2. All the time, because the NSL was in Liverpool. We always end up going to Liverpool.
Yeah. One thing or another.
That's why my friendship with Yaboyedeji and Kakafalabi.
Okay.
But I used to stay with them. For my class 1, I did it in Liverpool.
Were you living there with your family or just yourself?
No, I wasn't married when I was
married.
So I did my class 1.
And you never took when you got married, did you take your family?
No, I only got married when I left sea.
Is that so?
Yes.
That's a long time.
Yes, a long time. I never got married when I left sea.
So you never had any of these frictions or problems that arise for married seafarers?
Yes.
Salary differences between NNSL and other shipping lines. You never worked for any other shipping lines, no?
No, I worked for Brower.
But that's after you left. Was this after you left NNSL?
You know, as I said now, I was not employed by NNSL. When I had my class 1 certificate of competency,
yes,
I was to go back to the ministry that
Ministry of Transport
that sponsored me, because I wasn't. By the time I got my class 1 ticket and I have a BSc in the school, my mind was to work ashore anyway. I didn't have any. I wasn't very keen to stay long at sea anymore. So when I finished I got my class 1 certificate. I went to the ministry, and Captain Bakoba now said, "Oh, it's not for you to take command before you come to the office. It will help you a lot." So I went to NNSL for posting, but it was still in those days. Now a lot of politics now, because I was not NNSL trained. So what I was waiting for it did not come in time. I just went to Yukapalawio.
Okay.
We were looking for chief at that time. I stayed with Yukapalawio.
Okay.
For a few months. I left. I went home. Then after some months too, I just came to Awapa one day on this Marine Road to see Engineer Alebele. I didn't know him.
Yes.
While I was with him in the evening, we were just having a drink. I just said, "Ade, do you have a class?" I said, "Yes, I have now." He said, "We're looking for a captain now. Can you be a captain?" I said, "Why not?" He said, "I come to Brawa in the morning."
Okay.
That's how I got the job of master of Indeno River.
Yeah.
So,
And that lasted you for how many years?
I was there 89 to 1990. I didn't.
So just about 1 year.
1 year plus. I stayed 80 because I wanted to go to come down and go back to the ministry.
So after you left in Noni River, you went straight back to the ministry.
Yes.
I see.
I just applied to go to the ministry.
Okay. And the ministry took you up.
Well, it wasn't easy because that time, that was 1990. By the time I got to the ministry I left the ship in November or so, 1990. So it was 91 that I went to the ministry. But that time they said, "Oh, we are overstayed and all that." So there were all these Inland Waterways that employment now. You are saying that, "Oh, you have stayed too long." Some people those who are there and I didn't want me to come back.
And you're on top of that.
One of my colleagues that I mentioned that I forgot was Ejina Zugalu.
Zugalu.
I know why I remember him.
Yeah.
It's late too now. He was already back in the ministry that time. He was not back to worry that we were in the 70s.
Yes.
When he came out to the ministry, he was posted to worry as the divisional engineer.
Okay.
Jonathan Zugalu, very brilliant guy.
Okay.
But he passed on now.
So how did they eventually resolve it? Did they take you?
Yes, because the Inland Waterways Department was sorry to take me because they do come out. They were saying, "Oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that." Then Captain Ade, I don't know if you remember Captain Ade.
Yeah, of course.
Captain Ade, when I was at sea, when we were at sea, all along, anytime she comes to Nigeria, we go to his to see him in the office.
Yeah.
He was in the Inland Waterways that time as a divisional assistant director.
Okay.
Assistant, whatever in the Inland Waterways. So I used to visit him. He was monitoring our progress and all that. By the time I finished, by 1990, he was now the GIS.
Okay.
So when I wanted to join the ministry back, and they were making the Inland Waterways who they didn't want me to come back, but they cannot come out freely. Another of my colleagues that I forgot to mention was Engineer Abubakar, who retired in Ministry of Transport.
Okay.
Dr. Abubakar.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He didn't come to Seattle, just did BSc and then did PhD.
I see.
But my very close friend, Dr. Abubakar. He was already in ministry at that time. So one day I just went to see Captain Ade at Marine Road there. I told him, he said, "Oh, Captain, that time I was already a captain." He was there. But I told him that this is what is happening today. These people are not, they are trying to be funny and all that. He said, "Okay, no problem." What he did was, he asked for my file from the ministry, for my file, my personal file.
Yes.
So he wrote, now he now wrote a memo. Because I know him for many years now. He wrote about 3 pages of memo to the permanent secretary, talking about how I started as a cadet, what I've gone through, that I have I'm a master mariner, I have a BSc in nautical studies, I've taken command, and the ministry can never get someone like me, that if the those that don't want me now, the MID, so we need somewhat of my status. Everybody knows the foreign secretary then read the memo and I think maybe she was surprised. She just put there said reabsorb him immediately. That's why when I just went to the ministry one day, the man was handling the matter. He just said, what happened now? Look at what the pastor has said. That's how I went back. I was reabsorbed. But instead of going to Inland Waterways, I was posted to the Maritime Secretary Division. That's how I became a surveyor.
Okay.
And I've been in Inland Waterways in Lokoja.
So then they sent you to IAG's
the office as a surveyor.
As a surveyor.
So you can see how
that is fortune.
And then eventually I ended up at the master.
That's how God works.
Yes.
So talking about your promotions and career development, I think you want to say anything again about that? Your promotions and your career development?
Me, I see.
I think it's total.
Well, I think I would say that I was lucky anyway. I passed through all the stages at sea. I was a third officer, I was second officer, I was a chief officer, and I was privileged to be master of a ship. Even before that time, before I even went on the Inca Falabio, I was master on this fish carrier, MV Kefi, owned by Hebrew. At one time, Hebrew had some.
I know you used to have a fleet.
Yes, so I was the master of that vessel. I took the vessel to Europe.
Oh.
Yes, it's a fish processing vessel.
Yes.
That was on that vessel, but I mean, it's not as big as our own vessels now.
It's a trawler.
No, not a trawler.
It's a
fish carrier, not a trawler.
The fish carrier.
Fish carrier.
What's the difference?
A fish carrier is a fish factory, not even a carrier.
The factory.
What happens at that vessel now? When the trawlers go out, when they after doing their catch, they now bring it. They can process on their own vessel or the trawler, but they bring it to that ship, to the Kifi, where the fish will be processed, separated, cleaned, and packaged, and put in the hatches.
In cartons.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I said.
For export or for sale?
Yeah, for export. When we were in UK for about 6 months now. We were just going from one fishing field to another. So the trawlers will come give us their catch. We started loading to the hatches of the vessel. When the vessel was filled up, we came back to Nigeria with fresh.
No wonder Hebrew fish. Okay.
Yes.
I can understand. Okay.
And when I came back, so when I left the river eventually, I said I went to the ministry. Initially, I was put on level 12. But when we were employed, I was employed on level 5 those days, 74. So when I came back, they had to upgrade me and then put me on level 12.
Of course.
The following year, I was lucky. They were doing recruitment. They put advert in the papers. I applied. I was interviewed. I was promoted to level 13. Okay. Within 1 year that I went to the ministry. After another 2-3 years interview, I became a chief surveyor. After another 4 years, between 14 to 15, 4 years. So after another 4 years, I was promoted as a director in the ministry. I was in that position when we transferred from GIS to Nasa.
So your career promotion part was very good.
Well, in the civil service now, you cannot. It's not for you to jump any
level.
Yeah, you have to wait for So I had to wait for those periods before I get promoted. Normally, if you are going from the ministry to
they lift you up.
So that was going to the ministry to the master. I now became the good director.
Yes.
Before eventually I became director.
Yes. All right. So, so is this question therefore good for you to describe the story of NNSL? Do you feel, are you in a good position to describe the story of NNSL? What did you observe the little time that you had interaction with NNSL?
I think the story of NNSL is probably the story of Nigeria itself. Today I was reading about the story of UI. What happened to UI? I know these days now they are fighting over who's going to be the last. It's actually the story of NNSL management. It's very sad that the crop of Nigerians that were with the NNSL, especially at sea. I would say they were the brightest Nigerians those days now.
Yes.
So those guys on the vessel, they were very, very good people, intelligent people. They could. But if you're on the ship and you ask for spare parts, I don't get spare parts. You're managing. You have a company whereby people will put cargo or divert cargo to other companies.
Yeah.
Some ships will stay 3 months in port waiting for cargo.
Yes.
When there's so much cargo, give to other countries. I mean, how can you justify that type of thing? How would you run the company that way?
Yeah.
And of course, people in the office too. I mean, the management was not. They were dancing so much to the tune of maybe the government. It's as if nothing will happen. It's national cake.
Yeah.
To just share it, nobody cares. And as I said, the MV Udeen River that was bought from Nimasa, from NNSL, was still operating more than 10 years after this was sold as almost scrap.
Yeah.
It was almost scrap.
That is telling.
Yes.
It's quite telling.
I stayed on the vessel, and for more than 10 years, the vessel was, when I had left several years, it was still making money. So, it's a question of story of this country that only God knows why. I feel so sad when I look at the history of NNSL, because when we used to arrive at foreign ports those days, as a master, when the pilot comes and sees that the master of the ship is a black man, sometimes they are first shocked now to see that this young man is the master of the ship. But if you tell them, oh, they are just that you go to a ticket in the UK, then they will keep quiet. And that for you to have the certificate from the UK, you must be very, very good.
It is.
So it was a question of the competence on the part of those who are running the vessel now. It was the office that ran the. It's very sad.
I agree with you. Okay. Well, I think we have talked there 15. Which is question 15. You have answered it now. What led to the nose dive? Did you have any personal challenges in your seafaring career? All along the line from Inland Waterways in Warri to GIS to the master, did you have any issues you want to talk about?
I think I was just lucky. I didn't have any
personal challenges.
I went for my exams, and with God's grace, I didn't have any hiccups. I just went through the exams, and God helped me. I was able to pass through and I did it almost at the same time as my colleagues. So I didn't have any challenges. That's why, as a person, I'm so satisfied with what God has done for me as a seafarer.
How do you describe how you cope with life after seafaring?
Again, too, because I was not chased from sea. It was my own decision to leave the sea. I was not actually looking at even the salary that I was going to get ashore and all that. In fact, when I went to Warri, because when I went back to the Ministry of Transport and I was posted to Warri as surveyor, the person that I met there, who is not a seafarer, so one day he was telling me, he said he went to meet one of the ship owners in Warri, was telling that, oh, this man has come to take over from him in Warri. He says the captain and all that. He said the man told him, if that's the case, maybe the man has made so much money, that's why he's coming down. Otherwise, how much is he going to be paid in the ministry? So I just wanted to work for the ministry that trained me.
Yeah.
And luckily for me now, everything ended well because I got some time now. We were sent to the master, and in terms of salary and everything now, everything changed for us. And I started as director.
Yes.
What else do I ask? How many of my colleagues also become directors? I thank God for His mercies.
So what are you doing now? That's the next question we're asking. What do you do?
One time when I went to one forum, I told the forum of cadets. So I was trying to tell them that a seafarer can have 3 careers. The first career will be the one you have at sea. If you leave sea in time, you can get employment ashore. If you don't wait for too long, if you are still under 50 hours, you get another job at ashore. And if you are lucky, if you have that period now, you can have work for the time that you can qualify for retirement benefit as well too. When you work ashore. When you finish working ashore, in my own case now, I'm in my 3rd career. I've worked on the ship. I've worked as a government surveyor, and I'm a pensioner. What I'm doing now is I'm involved in a training center Matramari, I don't know whether you know the Matramari Training Center organized set up by Captain Motesho.
Which one is that?
Matra Maritime Training Center.
Matra.
Matra Maritime Training Center.
Is it the one in Badagry?
No, the one at Tinapa. Is there anyone in Badagry?
I hear that there's a maritime college they set up in Badagry.
Yeah.
But the one you're talking about is in Tinapa?
Yeah, but it has been moved to Lagos now. It's now at Modo. That's the one at I'm in now. Although we are not, I mean, we are just, it's a skeleton or something. We are not getting enough job to do now. Just like the coastal, you go by Ramalan. We are doing similar things. We are doing mandatories, the training and all that. And here, well, I'm the MD of Finnish Shipship. This company. Yes. But I mean, I'm more or less, I call myself as a nominal MD anywhere. I only come once a week. So it's nothing, I just take my time. I don't worry myself. I go out 2 times a week. That's what I'm doing. And of course, sometimes we allow myself, we facilitate courses for them at Unilag. Yes. When I do with Dr. Eke.
The Institute of Maritime Studies.
That's what I'm enjoying it anyway.
Well, because all this is like diverse.
Yes.
Assorted.
Yes, I think yes. Unfortunately, some of the photographs were lost. In those days now, in fact, one of the things I used to do, which I forgot to do, was at the height of the congestion in Nigeria.
Yes.
We used to stay so much time at Anchorage.
Yes.
In Warren, we used to anchor at Bennett Island. We used to organize football matches. We would go to Bennett Island to play football.
Yeah. With the local people?
No, with maybe there are 1 or 2 places around.
Okay.
So we play ourselves.
I see.
I'll check if I can get one of those photographs.
Yes. It will be nice.
Yes.
We'll tell the stories.
Yes.
Thank you so very much, Captain. It was a very nice time talking to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank God.
Yes. Please go.